Okay, so the problem we have today is that the brake pedal is stuck in the up position. It doesn't move at all. The brakes are not held on. The vehicle rolls just fine, but the brake lights are held on. So whenever we give the battery any power, whenever we hook up the battery, the brake lights stay on, which means I think that the piston inside the master cylinder is stuck in the engaged position, and it's tricking it into thinking that the brakes are actually on, which is why the pedal won't move. So we're gonna take a look at the master. We're gonna see what we can do. Maybe we can fix it up, clean it up. That's all the front tabs, but that back tab, there we go. So it's off, nothing's broken. Looks to be in good shape. Wow, that's as nice as it comes. Look at that, it's even date stamped on the inside. Everything in here is perfect. Let's take a look at what our brake fluid levels look like. So see, this wire comes over the top of the plastic and then plugs in. It also comes up the front left corner right here next to this screw. If we pull this up, we can see the plastic dust shield is in great shape, but we definitely have no hydraulic fluid. That's good. That accounts for the lack of clutch issue. I think the clutch, we haven't found any brake lines or any rubber that's been broken. I think it's very possible we just need to put fluid in it and bleed the clutch. Brakes, they're ruined. There's something wrong with the brakes, but the clutch might be an easy fix. So we're going to open up the brake fluid reservoir, which is the same reservoir for the clutch, and we're going to add some fluid and we'll do a pressure bleed and see if we can't get the clutch to move. Then we'll also try on the brakes, because if we put pressure behind the cylinder, behind the piston in the master, we might be able to actually get it to move a little bit. Or at least figure out where it is the fluid's going or gone. There definitely could be a tangible leak somewhere. The rubber brake lines could have broken at this point. That's not unreasonable at all. So the cap was nice and dry, so that's interesting. So we're just going to put a little bit in, start to see where it goes. Okay, so what we're going to do now, we've filled the reservoir with some fluid. We're going to just crack the bleeder on the clutch slave cylinder back here. If we just crack the bleeder and allow it to gravity bleed, that'll get the juices flowing. Then we'll go on to do a pressure bleed later. It looks like, if anything, where all the brake fluid has gone is actually through that bleeder somehow. It doesn't make sense, but all the paint is missing on the slave cylinder bracket, and brake fluid eats paint, so that would make some sense to me. We'll see what it does. So we didn't get anything going with the gravity bleed, so I just put the pressure bleeder on the front master cylinder, pumped it up to 5 psi, and we'll see if we can get some juice out. All we need to do is get it to start flowing. I'm fine with air in the system, we just need to see that there is a system. Yeah, there's fluid at the cylinder. It's coming up from underneath the bleeder though. The bleeder might be clogged. Let's take the bleeder out and see what we get. Yep. That was a bad idea though, because now the fluid is flowing freely and the bleeder is in my hand. So the bleeder is clogged. I'm trying to put it back in without losing tons of fluid. I've just had some success putting it back in. So we're going to clean that bleeder out. Very good. We got fluid to the slave cylinder. Looks like a pretty good bleeder. Just has a little bit of schmutz in it. Kind of wish I could run it through the ultrasonic cleaner, but I don't have a spare, so we're losing fluid as we do this. There we go. That should do it. Yeah, it's flowing now. It's flowing through the bleeder. So the bleeder is going to work properly, which means we can bleed this clutch. Okay, so we're pumped up to 5 psi. We've got real good fluid flowing now. Lots of air, but it's definitely coming out. It's going into our cup. So let's keep that air moving until we get nice clear fluid. Right now we've just got some rusty nastiness, but it'll go. Just give it time. Let's go ahead and close our bleeder. See if we've got a brake pedal or a clutch pedal. Okay, so we bled the system. There's no air coming out right now, which seems good. But before we had no clutch pedal feel at all. It just felt like there was no resistance. And now we go up there and the pedal feels rock solid. It feels a lot like the brake pedal. So my theory is it's doing the same thing as the brake pedal. Because there was air in the system and the clutch pedal moved up there, it means the master cylinder is free and it's moving. However, that means now that the system is full, it's hitting resistance somewhere, which isn't up there, so it has to be back here. So this clutch slave cylinder is, for whatever reason, not moving. And what it probably is it's probably the clutch throwout arm that actually engages the clutch disc. And I'm guessing that's pretty much stuck. So usually you can't quite move it with your hand. It would be very tough, but I'm a pretty strong guy. No, that's rock solid. So what we're gonna do, we're gonna hit that with some penetrating fluid, try to free it up, then give it a couple little taps with a hammer up and down, see if we can't get it moving. This is the penetrating fluid we're gonna use today. It's a combination of acetone and automatic transmission fluid, and it does a really nice job of penetrating things. It takes a little bit of time, but if something's gonna come free, this is gonna make it happen. So let's see what we can do. Nothing. So that's pretty solid. Recording. Okay, so we've got the brakes, we've bled the brakes at 3 wheels. At 3 wheels, brake fluid's coming out real nice, coming out crystal clear, all is well. The brake pedal worked when there was no brake fluid in it. But now that we have some brake fluid in it, it doesn't work again, which tells me there's a big air pocket somewhere. It's in this wheel. We know this because when we open the bleeders on this wheel, even with the pressure bleeder on, nothing comes out. So there's an obstruction in the line on this wheel. So we're gonna try to figure it out. This is also the first time we've taken a wheel off, so let's see the overall state and condition of the components in here. Okay, that looks pretty good. It definitely looks very, very original, and it's been sitting. There's plenty of meat left on the pads, and there's plenty of meat left on the rotor. The rotor's really not pitted. These rotors don't need to be cut in order to run this car. They just need to be run in, so that's pretty cool. My game plan is to take the caliper off. With the caliper off, we'll compress the piston inside the caliper. I'm guessing that's not moving, and that's not allowing any fluid by, so when we get that moving, Hey guys, so we took this brake caliper off. This design on the early vans, 80 to 85, is bad. I haven't done one of these in a while, and it's bad. The brake rotors spin real nice, so the wheel bearings look good, nice and smooth. Definitely the original pads, and they look like they've got, I think he probably was a fast driver and never used his brakes, because I can honestly say I've never seen a pad that looked like that. They're brand new. But we were able to take the caliper completely off and see how the fluid is not gushing out of this line. That's because the line doesn't work. So that's good. There was a concern that the caliper was bad. The caliper's probably not bad. We have an obstruction in this line somewhere. So I'm going to try to snake it, maybe blow some air through it, and we'll see what we can do about getting this line freed up so that it starts to flow. That should be good stuff. Recording. So the thing we're going to try to do is we're going to try to blow this brake line out. Can't say I've ever tried that. I think the best case scenario is we actually manage to get air up there, and then fluid starts coming back down and rushes out in huge volumes, larger than our cup. Not a really good plan, but let's see what it does. Whoop. We've got no air coming out. So this hose definitely has an obstruction in it, and I can't really think of a good logical way to determine where that would be. But you know, the rubber line's all original and it seems pretty nice. I just don't know where I don't know why the juices aren't flowing. But sometimes if you rub it the right way, it just might get it going. We'll see what we can do. Okay guys, so it's a sad day. I've been trying to restore the brakes. I've concluded that there is an obstruction somewhere around here. It's in the soft line, it's not in the hard line. And in order to fix this and to get these running, we're trying to keep components as original as possible. I think the soft line is repairable. All we have to do is clear that obstruction. We've tried snaking this for hours. It just won't work. The soft line is more iconic and more original. It's a completely original ATE line and whatnot. I'm going to have to cut one of these two things. I'm going to cut the pipe. That's going to allow me to put a socket on the back here because it doesn't want to move. It would be great if everything came apart, but it won't. I'm going to cut the pipe, put a socket on the back, and fix and save the hose. I don't know how I feel about it. It's the first part that's not going to be original, but we have to make the car have brakes, and we're that close. So we're going to replace this little tiny pipe. That's not going to be original. We've traced it, we've outlined it, we've measured it. We're 100% certain that is stock, and we're going to make sure that the one we replace it with is in every possible capacity exactly that. So, sorry. Bye, boss. I'm sorry.